Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 11 of albums that are 40 years old in 2025. Going back 40 years to 1985. Got 28 days in the month. We're picking out our 28 favorite albums across that entire year, all genres of music. It's always interesting to read down the comments, see what everybody's come up with. How are we aligning? How are we not? A lot of stuff you guys have picked that I have no interest in, and I'm sure vice versa, but that's the way it should be, right? Today, for day 11, this is the 5th studio album from this Irish guitar player, released September 2nd, 1985, recorded at Marcus Music and Eel Pie Studios in Westside Studios, and SARM E Studios, and AIR Studios, all in the London area. Produced by Andy Johns, Peter Collins, Beau Hill, Mike Stone, and Gary Moore himself for Virgin Records. I'm talking about Run for Cover by Mr. Gary Moore. This is one of those albums that I always really liked from him, but it's often the one that gets kind of forgotten about because, of course, you got all the ones that kind of came before it, specifically like, Victims of the Future and Corridors of Power. Right, those are the two directly preceding it. To me, always get all the attention. And then, for some people, you got the blues albums that come up later on, or maybe you like, the two that came after this. But this one kind of gets forgotten about here. Didn't get a lot of fanfare upon its release here in the States. And, you got all the different producers working on it, all different people playing on it, right? So this one is kind of less of a band album, but it's no less of a great album from Gary. So who appears on this album? A little bit of everybody. We got Gary Moore, of course, on guitars, lead and backing vocals. You got Glenn Hughes, bass guitar and lead vocals on, I think it's 4 tracks he appears on here. Phil Lynott, bass guitar, lead and backing vocals. Andy Richards, keyboards. Neil Carter, keyboards, backing vocals. Don Airey, keyboards. Bob Daisley, bass guitar. Gary Ferguson, drums. Charlie Morgan, drums. Paul Thompson, drums. James Barton, drums. Keith Morrell, backing vocals, right? So it's recorded at all these different studios, all these different producers. Right, you got some very named producers here, but they, no one, they all worked on 2 or 3 tracks, whatnot. So it's kind of like a hodgepodge of things thrown together. However, those things thrown together, in my opinion, pretty damn good. Starts off with the great song "Run for Cover," right? That's the awesome title track. It's good rocker. Most of this album is just good hard rock. It's part of his kind of hard rock and metal period, but maybe arguably not as heavy as the 2 albums that came before it. But Run for Cover, great opener. You got Reach for the Sky, killer tune with Glenn Hughes on vocals. I remember when this came out, I was like, wow, Glenn Hughes and Gary Moore seems like a match made in heaven. And, but if you read into what's going on, what was going on at the time, obviously this is right before him joining Black Sabbath, right, which that didn't end well either. This didn't end well either because, of course, Glenn is in the middle of this ridiculous cocaine addiction that he went through for a long time. And, Gary just found him totally unreliable. I think the idea was, hey, let's do an album together, let's tour, and it just, that didn't happen. But the songs he appears on here are really, really great. Reach for the Sky is a great tune, good heavy tune, great vocal from Glenn. You got Military Man coming up next. That's got Phil singing on that, right? Great album, a great song that they did together, really, really good. And then, of course, you got Empty Rooms appears on here again, right? So you got Empty Rooms is also on the album that came before it. So, depending on where you live, it's the Empty Rooms was appeared on a couple different albums, obviously, but in some territories and not in others. Very strange. Side 2, you got Out in the Fields, again, Phil and Gary. Classic song. Great, vibrant rocker. Really, really good. Nothing to Lose is up next. Glenn Hughes on vocals again. Really like that. Good, crunchy rocker. Really dig that a lot. It's kind of got a heavy blues rock feel. Once in a Lifetime. Kind of like a hard rock and pop song. Good chorus on that one. All Messed Up. With No Place to Go. That's another Glenn Hughes sung song. Good, heavy rocker there. And then Listen to Your Heartbeat finishes off the album, and that's just more of a more of a pop metal type of track. Pretty good though. I dig it. So let's take a look at charts. We've got it's made it to number 6 in Sweden, number 7 in Norway, Finnish charts number 10, UK charts number 12. You got New Zealand, number 23, Germany, 27, Dutch charts, number 47, Australia, 73, and the Billboard Top 200 only made it to number 146. And certification, Sweden, this one gold, 50,000 units sold, and UK silver, 60,000 units sold. That's kind of surprising. Didn't do anything here, though. Out in the singles, Out in the Fields, released May 6, 1985. Empty Rooms, July 15, 1985. They got a lot of mileage out Empty Rooms, man, I'll tell you. You know what it is, because I think they had high hopes for Empty Rooms. With the previous album, didn't really kick off, or like I said, it was really Empty Rooms was part of the album in some territories and not in the others, but I think they really felt that was going to be his breakthrough. Didn't quite happen that way. Run for Cover, released also later that year in 85, as was Listen to Your Heartbeat. So they really tried with this album. They really tried, but unfortunately, didn't quite catch on. Did admirably in some countries, but, here in the States, which I think is what they were looking for, not quite. I think it was just too much of a varied album, too many different people playing on it, singing on it, that sort of thing. But some really, really good material. I like it a lot. I think it's really good. So, that's my pick for today. Run for Cover by Gary Moore. Let us know what you think of this album down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, day number 11. And we'll see you tomorrow for number 12. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options, all down below. Thank you for those who do support the channel in that faction. We greatly appreciate it, or fashion, I should say, not faction. And we'll see you tomorrow for another one. Don't forget, tonight in the Prague seat, going back 50 years to 1975, celebrating two albums that are 50 years old in 2025. They're both by the same band, Rush, Fly By Night, and Caress of Steel. We're going to be talking about those two albums and how important they were into the development of the Rush sound going forward into 2112, A Farewell to Kings, and certainly Hemispheres. That's all coming up tonight in the Prague seat. Do not miss it. Talking Rush, we're going to have some members of the Hudson Valley Squares joining us as well, so it's going to be a big all-in-the-family type of thing tonight. Talking Rush, two great albums from 1975. We'll see you then. I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.